Reverend Floyd Rose. So we'll get you set up here, and we'll pull you up a chair. We'll get the microphone in front of you. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, George Boston Rhynes joining us this morning. George, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, my beautiful brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate you calling in and joining us in the studio.
I appreciate the nature of your flavor and the flavor of your nature. What happened is that I listened to somebody called me about the discussion that you all was having out here the other day, and I'm going to respond to it, but maybe I won't have to now.
Well, no, we'll
and so anyway, well, I'm talking about on my radio broadcast.
Oh, okay.
And so first of all, I want to thank Black Crow Media. I really do. I used to criticize you guys, but I found out in truth that when you look at other radio stations, they don't even do what Black Crow Media has done. And so although I may not agree with the elected officials coming out here and not going to all of the people's radio station that they listen to, I was pretty hard on them, and I apologized some months ago about that. I believe in the basics of truth, and I will stand for that until I die. But what I heard you all talk about was the word racist. You used the word racist. You talked about Reverend Rose not getting with the school superintendent, Kaysen. Mr. Bill Love said that Mark Joy, Lee Touchton, Reverend Rose, and myself have a golden opportunity to go sit down with the superintendent, and we had failed to do so. I have absolutely no problems dealing with Mr. Kaysen. I have had him on my broadcast at least twice. Mr. Kaysen and myself have walked the streets in the Hudson Dock area, knocked on doors, greeted people, been to the Mildred Hunter Center. I've taken 15 children down to the Board of Education, and we have discussed on issues that's concerning the school. Mr. Kaysen will tell you, and he will tell me, because he has told me before, that we are friends. There is no opposition. We disagree with Mr. Kaysen not letting our children listen to the President of the United States. Now, back on point with the school board the other night, if I may.
Please.
I don't deal with a lot of the racist stuff that I hear in the country today. And so if you'll go back and you check your tape, because I did record that program, you won't find nothing that I said about the firing of Mr. McDuffie, etc., etc.
He was not fired.
Well, I mean, retired.
Right.
Retired. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my
right.
beautiful brother. Thank you so much. And because I love the truth. And what I talked about was the fact of the points of history. That's where I came from. I talked about the 40 years of us being under a court order, not 30, as Mr. Love stated. And I know I'm correct, and I know he's wrong. And I love him. I respect him. But at the same time, as you address, and Mr. Love addressed George Boston Rhynes, I just wish that you be reflective of who I am and my character. Personally, when I listen to people talk about me in terms of racism, I've been doing this since '75. Most of my broadcasts, as you see, I have a tape recorder here. I got a video running. Everything I do in my life is like that when it comes down to radio, television, and what I do. Because there is no hatred in me. And I also know that all the venom that I hear against our Executive Commander-in-Chief is uncalled for. I did 20 years in this man's army. And America is the greatest nation on the face of the earth today, I believe.
Absolutely.
And so I respected all other presidents, even when we could not even vote, when we were considered 3/5 of a human being, etc., etc. I'm not going into that, because history is the best rewarder of all research. And so what I want to do is, I came out here mainly because I really was going to eat breakfast. But I knew what I was going to do on my broadcast. But now I must admit, I wasn't playing around. I said, I'm not going to get behind the mic. So you convinced me to come. Because really, what I was going to do, I really was going to just go and deal with it later. But I'm going to tell you something. Now, you may not believe this. To you who are listening may not believe this. I got greater respect for you. Because we can have different mindsets. But if we can sit down and dialogue like we did on the battlefield in Vietnam. I'm a Vietnam era veteran, disabled veteran.
God bless
but
you,
regardless of all our differences, when we can sit down and dialogue and challenge the minds, that's what I respect most about this republic. But I will say again, you will, radio listeners, you will be getting the complete Board of Education meeting on my YouTube channel, Boston G.B.R. As Paul Harvey would say, you will get the rest of the story. Kay Harris of the Valdosta Daily Times, I want to say to you, you got it wrong too. There's things that you said in that paper are totally incorrect, especially what I said. I didn't say anything about Martians. Now let me make it clear since I'm behind the mic what I did say.
This is your chance.
What I said was this. If Martians came down to Earth, and if they walked in a school system where there were no Martians, how would they feel? Now that just was to make an illustration. I thought I was talking to a group of people with at least of average intelligence. And so when you have average intelligence, you'll know what I mean. What I meant is that the civil rights movement, when you break it down and dissect it, it said the same thing that I was saying. They saw a need to include people that had been locked out from the time that they came to these shores in the year 1555 aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by one Sir John Hawkins, a white European slave trader. So when they saw what had happened to these people, then they went back to try to make it correct. And this is what makes the founding fathers of this republic so great. Now, brother, do you have any questions?
Well, I want to get steers back on point because talking about the decision made by the school board, you and Reverend Rose were upset. I'm assuming that, tell me if I'm incorrect, you were upset that the principals, Rufus McDuffie and Sandra Allen, were not replaced by African-American principals. Am I correct?
Mr. McDuffie, Mr. Chris Beckham, first of all, I really did not get an email that Mr. Love talked about. I really don't know what happened on that. And first of all, no, that was your question directly. No, I'm not upset.
Okay.
I'm not upset because of the fact that I read the newspaper and I understand what was said. But I also know something else, Mr. Chris. I know that in the black African American experience, we have blacks in positions of power, but they are not in power. And so what happens when that happens is that you have a black man or woman sitting in position, but they can't speak from their heart and from their mind. So what they do, sometimes they'll do things, but there's a personal issue, whatever it may be, and they won't say nothing. And so many in the black community believe that there's more to the story than what has been reported. It may not be the case. It may not be the case. But too often, this is what happens. Now me, if you notice, I didn't address none of that. If you go, right. I'm going to have it on Boston G.B.R. YouTube and you'll be able to see. I didn't address any of that. What I addressed was the fact that we only have 32 seats in a metro city. What I addressed was that I was here in 75 and we had racial problems and that police were lying out in front of the Board of Education building, and I said that we are still having problems and issues with race today. These are the type levels and points that I made, but I don't want to get into that because it's already on Boston G.B.R. So I didn't address that. Now, next question, please.
Well, again, whenever you address the school board, what was the reason that you addressed the school board on Monday night? What was the point you wanted to get across? And
you know, and I respect you for that. You know why I say that? Because you did ask on. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a smart person. But I'm at least of average intelligence, the military says. And so now, the reason I addressed the board was number one, was the fact that we, the people, have a voice. And that when we come to our elected officials, they should listen to us. That's why I talked about the 32 seats, which I've been talking about for 3 or more years. When I talked about we have problems in the school system that needs to be addressed. When I talked about how I served my country, when I talked about that we need diversity, and when I talked about the 40-year-old court order, that is an order that talked about the hiring of black teachers. We know that. And so we under a court order. Now I know, and I said this in the paper, I said this at the meeting too, but the Times got it wrong. What I said, the 2 black principals that are no longer, that are retired,
right.
I said, 2 principals black principals will not make it right. I said, but right will always make it right. And the Times got that wrong. But what I was really saying is that all I've been asking for is diversity in this city. And I don't care where you go, I can prove my point over and over again. I can call businesses out. And when we as black African Americans go into these businesses and we look around and we look for diversity, even in the city annex, we who have eyes, and we don't see any blacks. So this is my point, and this is why I address the board. If you notice, as I said before, you don't see where I talk much about that. But the fact remains that we do need more black principals. Even Ray Charles could see that. And Ray Charles could see that we need more black educators as well. Now, for the K. Harris to say, and you asked me why, this is why I came before the board. Now, if she would ask, she said in the paper that we have a problem with whites being in certain districts, and that they are the ones that need some employment. Well, look at the income. Mark George and Aris Santos and SCLC and NAACP leaders came together, and they put together a video called A Chorus of Fear. And in that video, it's online, just Google A Chorus of Fear. A lot of people haven't watched it, but they need to. They highlighted what happened. The disparity between black income and white income is a matter of record. We can talk about it and feel bad about it, but it is what it is, as my friend Doc Robinson says.
Now, again, and I think we're getting short of running out of time, but I do want to bring this point up because the feeling that I had from it was, you're absolutely right. We've got problems in our public school system, and no one can deny that. And those problems, I mean, teenage pregnancy and discipline in the classrooms and all of those things go back to a lot of issues that our educators face. When accusations like this are made, that kind of, I think, deflects the attention from some real problems that we have. And that was kind of my issue with it.
My beautiful brother, my beautiful brother, my beautiful brother. I love you, man. And the reason I respect you because you are saying the same thing that you said on the broadcast Tuesday. And when you hold true to what's inside of your heart, I respect that. Now, that is so true. Look, my beautiful brother, we know that money controls most of everything today, even people's religion. So, if black kids are living in the ghetto, and if they look around town and don't see their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, their uncles not owning any of these businesses for the most part, they can't even take a vacation to go to Atlanta, let alone to Paris or Senegal or Timbuktu, or to look at other monuments like Crater Lake or something like that. And so you're dealing with the mindset of a group of people been locked out of the system for so long. And if these children, even the ones that are breaking into the convenience stores, I don't justify what they're doing. The ones who are selling drugs, the ones who refuse to go to school, some who must come home and listen to their parents in the school system tell what they go through every day along the racial divide, but the teachers can't say nothing because even Georgia is an at-will to work state, which means you can be fired for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all. Now, what I really wanted to address is the Board of Education meeting with problem in the janitorial service. There is major problems. And my beautiful brother, one thing about Brother Rhynes, I don't know why it is, but people call me, both black and white. I fight just as strong for white folk and I do for black folk. And they know this in the community. And this is why the professors, the white professors at VSU, people at Moody Air Force Base respect me. Because they know me. They internalize Brother Rhynes. And I am that I am. So to bring it in, you stuck to what you said Tuesday. And you are correct that the issues in school, most all my siblings except one, and 6 of us, are educators. And so we know what goes on to the school. So we know how bad these kids are in these low-income areas. And most of them are black. And I'm not going to back off of blackness and saying what it is because it is the truth. And I've sat down with Sam Allen. I can go down, Mr. Kaysen give me open door. I can go to Mr. Kaysen anytime. We go down and just talk in general. But if there are no blacks in the administration when a black person walks up there in that front office, it is what it is. That's another point I addressed too. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're running out of time, and I'm so glad that you're here today. And if you've listened to the show, and I think that you have, you know that we do always want to have all sides to all the arguments, and we're going to certainly continue to do that, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Well, let me close, my beautiful
Please.
brother. I once again, to the owners of Black Crow Media, I apologize when I used to be on your case so hard. But when I found out that the other local radio stations were not even doing what you were doing, I had to back off that horse. And that's what makes me what I am. I'm not too proud, and I try to be very careful what I say, because I think that I'm intelligent enough to say something without hurting your feelings.
Absolutely.
And so I want to say even here today that if I've said anything to hurt your feelings, or anybody out there in radio land, I want to ask your forgiveness, because that's the way Brother Rhynes walked. That's the flavor of my nature, and that's the nature of my flavor. And so to you all, I want to say y'all have a nice day. I love you all. And by the way, I know there's very little respect in terms of, I won't say respect, but I will say people really hate our president. I love him because, number one, he's the first black African-American president. He has not, I repeat, he has not taken away anyone's rights. He haven't denied anyone the right to vote. The things that we have, as black African Americans, have endured under some of the other, all 43 white male presidents. President Barack Obama has not done that to not a single American citizen as of today. I can't speak for tomorrow. And so we respect him in the same manner we respect the others. Some others we may not have liked because we would consider 3/5 of a human being under some of the others. But there's one thing, we respect the office of president. I didn't criticize them when I wore uniform, and I won't do it today, nor will I criticize you, Mr. Beck, because I love you just that much.
And I respect you as well. Thank you so much.
So much. That's a hand. Radio friends, we reach across and we shaking hand. I got a black hand, he got a white hand, and we gonna keep it right just like that.
Absolutely.
And we want to be tight like a thumbtack. So until next time, this is your little brother, Brother Rhynes, saying bye-bye, we're gone, and we loved you just that much.
George Boston Rhynes in the studio with us this morning. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. Chris Gay, candidate for coroner, will be joining us after the news at the bottom of the hour, and more of the Morning Drive coming up right after this on News Talk 105.9. This is WVGA.
Now, you know something? I just made it in. See, I get it from both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure somebody gonna get me because of why I say I didn't. When I stood for that board, I didn't address the issue of the retirement because I read what's in the paper,
right.
And I hadn't talked to nobody else. Go back. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. You'll see it. Say I don't deal in
and I see your stuff on YouTube.
I don't deal in stuff like that. I don't deal in stuff. If it's not factual, Brother Rand don't want it.
Well, we don't need it.
I don't want it. I don't want it. But look at you all have a good day, man. Man, you know what? You may think I'm joking, but I'm gonna talk now. Now you know what? You may think I'm joking, but now I had something. I may be out of town, but I will. I got to go back in the Act 79. That's what we did today. I got 11 minutes left, and I'm gonna commend you for this.
Well, listen. Here's my card.
Yes, sir.
Stay in touch with me.
Yeah, well, I called you out here before, and I thought you were gonna call me because I'm gonna tell you I'll be out here anytime because I'm on any issue. It don't matter to me.
Well, email me so I'll have your address and we can stay in touch. And
I'm on you, man. We'll do that.
hey, George, thank you, man.
Thank you, my beautiful brother. This cat walked up, opened the door. I love his spirit too. I don't know. He might be a. You all right, bro?
He's good.
Right.
Thank you, George.
Yes, sir. All right, man.
Take it easy.
Yes, sir.